cool. How long have you been in business?
This endeavor it's about to reach 5 years on December 15th.
5 years. What made you open a coffee business?
My parents were very entrepreneurial. When they got married, they started an agua fresca stand, and then they also tried making a restaurant. They also got into the tile and carpet business. They've owned an arcade in Matamoros when internet cafes were a thing.
You like casino type cafe, you mean?
No, like an old school like internet cafe.
Oh, okay.
Kind of what Starbucks was gonna start being, and then they're just like, nah, that's too much trouble. But they had computers for everyone to use. It's pretty cool. Yeah, they had a lot of degrees under their belts. They were just real go-getters, and they loved trying new things. So I was always moving, and I got to be exposed to a lot of what they did. And at one point, they had a lump sum of money because they loved closing down businesses and then opening new ones for who knows what reason, even if it was successful. And they were like, what do we do next? And I was like, I think you guys should stop moving around so much and just make like a good restaurant. And they're like, okay, do you want to do anything to help with that? And I said, yeah, I'll do the front of house and some beverage items, maybe coffee, teas, lemonades. And I thought that would be really easy, and it wasn't. And in the middle of that 2-year endeavor, I was 18 through 20 years old. I went to Austin to visit for ACL, it's a music fest. I met a world barista champ by the name of Gregory Alford.
A barista champ.
Yeah.
How do you become a champ of baristas?
Sure. Yeah. There's competitions in which judges who are qualified to judge based off of technique, skill, flavor, uniqueness, and you have to execute 3 perfect espressos, cappuccinos, and a specialty drink. And so this guy he placed pretty high, and I met him. I was blown away. He served me an espresso, pour over, and a coffee mocktail. Also a slice of cheese that paired well with these 3 origined coffees. And one of them was an award-winning coffee as well. I was really blown away, and I said, can I be you? And he's like, yeah, come work for me. So after we closed down my first endeavor, it was in Los Fresnos, it was called Beethoven's. I moved to Austin, and I was living in my car because you need 3 months of pay to show the apartments like, oh, I can pay for this.
Yep.
And I wasn't getting cashed out at my parents' place because I'm like, oh, we're all family, let's just share the money. So I didn't quite have a history of payment. So I was living in my car for a while. Did that for 4 years, and COVID hit. And by then my coach was like, all right, you're kind of ready to do whatever you want. You surpassed me. I'm going to take off. You go do your thing. I'm like, cool. So then I came back down to Brownsville because it's my hometown. I opened up my first Sovereign Coffee. It's a real small hole in the wall, 700 square feet. Me, my dad, and my uncle built it out from the ground up. The only thing we couldn't do was our plumbing. And even then our plumber died halfway through from COVID. And then his son had to take over. And it was just a really interesting amount of people that have built that place. And from there, we moved here the next year, and then Edinburgh the year after that. So every year we're trying to build a new Sovereign. There was a middle child that kind of got lost in there. It was a drive-through only concept, and I closed it down really quick because I realized Sovereign's a sit-down type of place that you need to come inside to experience what it truly was meant to be, which is something a little bit more above drive-through only.
So that was 5 years ago?
Yeah, that was 5 years ago.
And so you have 3 locations now?
Yes. We're going to do a 4th one next in McAllen as well later this year.
Walk me through some of the economics of the business. Like, how do you make money? Selling coffee only?
We make money through a little bit of merch, maybe like 5% of our sales. The big majority being coffee, tea, and matcha. Those would probably make up about 80% of our sales. But we also sell take-home coffee bags and brewers, matcha bowls, whisks, items that you can take home, get really into the craft, and then realize I can't do it like the cafe does. Then they come back and buy more coffee. But
they probably do both,
yeah.
right?
Oh,
They buy
yeah.
the coffee and they buy the one taken home.
Definitely do both.
It's convenience they pay for, right?
Yeah, a lot of it's convenience.
Where do you get your beans from? Like, where do they come from?
Yeah.
That's a big deal, right? Sourcing beans.
Yeah, that's a huge cost. It's like the biggest cost other than paying my employees is paying for the coffee. So we find green bean suppliers, which is raw coffee, and they will give us a price point at whatever coffee's selling at. Right now, it's extremely high. It's tripled since last year, and it's kind of breaking a lot of coffee shops down to where they have to close. But we're pretty fortunate to have bought in our roaster before all that price hiking happened. And we source our coffee. I really like South American coffees and African coffees. I'm not too big a fan of Asian coffees. They tend to just have this funky aftertaste that I'm not too fond of. But I'm a big fan of Guatemalan and Kenyan coffees. Those are my two favorites.
Interesting. So you source the beans, then you guys grind them here everywhere, or do you have like a centralized processing center or something, or is it all in each individual location?
Yeah, so the roasting process is actually at this location in that room. We actually have a window where you can peer in and watch us roast on Mondays and Tuesdays. And then from there, it gets distributed to each cafe. And then each cafe grinds on the spot whatever coffee you're going to order. We always have 2 offerings on our espresso, 3 if you count decaf. One is for sugary and milky drinks. It's going to have a little bit more of a chocolatey taste to withstand against all that sugar and milk. And the other one is more for black coffee drinkers or minimal sugar, minimal milk. And that one's a more premium. It costs 50 cents more, which I think is super approachable. Some places in San Antonio will charge like $5 more. And I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Oh, it's not ridiculous if somebody's going to pay it.
Yeah. Someone will. With a big enough population, someone will. I do have to take into account though that, the valley.
Well, you have to take a demographic.
Yeah. We live in the actual poorest area in the United States, right next to Flint, Michigan. And that influences a lot on my pricing. And so I want to make it really close to what they can get at Starbucks. And to my knowledge, we're about 13 cents above Starbucks with a
So you're a
double.
premium.
Yeah.
You're a premium.
Definitely.
Okay, so there's a Starbucks I just saw down the street. So
They were here first.
are you strategically putting your locations near a Starbucks?
No, I'm placing them where I see apartments and housing to make it a neighborhood shop. But even better, I also place it on a main road. So each shop is on a really centralized street next to a neighborhood.
Interesting. Well, I mean, so you're not a drive-through, right? So
we have actually a drive-through at our 2 newer location. The first one does not have a drive-through. I just saw an opportunity and I'm like, that's an even bigger plus because I know people want some convenience once in a while. But
most days.
Yeah.
Most days.
I'd say it's a 50-50 split though on those that sit down and those that go through the drive-through.
Do you know unit economics, like how much it costs to open one of these?
Yeah. It really does range. The first one, I just saved up my whole life and it only took me $20K. And then this one took $100K. The third one took probably $250K.
Why are they increasing in dollars?
Oh, it's just astronomically bigger. The third location I have is our flagship. It's just our biggest location yet. What is it, 3,000 square feet? This one's, I think, 2,000, and the Brownsville one is 700. So it's like tripled or more in size.
And so you think you'll spend the third one you spend 250,000?
I think it's about that much, yeah.
Just for unit economics, he's talking between $75 and $100 per square foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal. Knowing those economics, by the way, when you're opening a business, unit economics, because you mentioned something in the beginning about multiple locations. So we're going to get to that. But unit economics is probably the most important metric when you're growing a business. If you're doing retail, like you are, retail unit economics means the cost to open a location, service, you've got wages, you've got marketing, you've got expenses. So let's talk about multiple locations. You mentioned earlier, that we thought we would do an interview with a successful business owner, and you're saying that some success may be defined as multiple units.
There's some shows out there where it's like Save My Business type shows, and it'll show that people think opening several businesses will pay off the first one's loan quicker, and then they'll just play catch up from there on out. But I think starting with foundation is way more important to your success. I notice a lot of coffee shops make novelty or hype drinks every few months, and that can only bring in so many guests. Here, we actually have the same staple drinks, and if they hit, we keep them on forever. And once in a while, we'll introduce a new one, maybe like once per year. And then that one hits and we keep it on. If it doesn't hit, we'll take it off. I think sustainability is a better model. Keeping those guests you have in the door happy instead of getting new guests every week that only come once a year is way more sustainable.
Oh, I would agree with you. Well, I mean, if you look at the largest owner of a share of market is going to be independent mom and pop, but the second is going to be Starbucks, right? And Starbucks commands this market, and but they also close units. They closed a few thousand units just recently. So business is business. It doesn't matter if you've got $1 billion bank account or $100,000 or 10 grand, you're going to close a unit if it doesn't make money. How do you ensure every unit is profitable?
It takes it's a lot of factors, I'd say. It's definitely getting your guests that come through the door to keep coming through your doors. That's why I don't really market. I only want good people inviting other good people. And when good people invite other good people, they tip better. They know our baristas' names and our baristas know their names. It creates a true community. But if I try to get everyone through that door, I could just put up a billboard. That doesn't mean it's gonna last forever. It might just kick up our sales for like a few months. So that's one thing. Another thing is consistency. Like I said, I went to become a coffee professional for 4 years, and it was the black ops of training for or the PhD level of coffee learning. Yeah, I mean, you can dive into anything that much. You can dive into silverware that much.
I get it.
Someone's going to be a specialist in that, and I would say I'm the leader in that for sure. In our area, and so consistency is another one where everything is weighed to the 10th of a gram.
Sounds like drugs at this point.
Yeah, no,
Cocaine,
it is.
Caffeine.
Yeah,
same thing.
Sugar is more addictive than cocaine.
Well, it's readily available. That's why.
And it is that too. Yeah,
get it anywhere.
That's a good point. So consistency is another one, and hospitality has been at the forefront of it all, and that's just making sure guests get a hospitable experience. Yeah, it's important to get the drink right every time, but if that hinders my ability to ask a guest how they're doing, I think we might be failing as a company. So hospitality is probably the number one thing.
Are you, I didn't even ask you this at the beginning. Is it you and your parents still, or is it just you in this business?
Oh, this is just me.
Your parents are doing another endeavor?
Yeah, my dad's a nurse. My mom's a counselor for migrant children.
Oh, interesting. So they're not even business owners anymore.
No, they're so sick of that. They love coming in for the free coffee though. So
the free coffee.
Yeah, and my brother actually helps me out a lot when it comes to HR stuff or latte art training. He's a championship latte artist, so he does take control of that as well.
That's cool.
He's also a nurse though, so.
Yeah. So you're the only one who's full-time in the business?
Yes, definitely. Only me.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What do you think about taxes?
I'm not a fan of how high they are. I do think they're necessary. I think it's interesting how there's ways to get around it. And I battle within myself if I should utilize those methods. Utilizing a church to not pay taxes, and that's really interesting. And the anarchist in me when I was much younger thinks, man, that's a great idea. Let me utilize whatever I can to get away from big government taking my money. But then the younger conservative side of me, I've been on both ends of the spectrum where I think, no, honesty is the best policy. You must be truthful. You give to Caesar's what is his. And I think right now in my time of my life, I'm right in the middle where I take everything and consider it, and I realize I just don't want to be arrested. I'm gonna do whatever I should be doing in its most honest practice. And I think everyone else should too if they know what's good for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you think the only way to avoid paying taxes is to do something illegal?
No, I more like just in a I don't know if utilizing a church isn't illegal to say like, oh, I'm under a nonprofit, which is the church. I think it's just
I mean, that's just one form, right?
interesting, yeah, to use like that.
Yeah.
That's one form, yeah.
Yeah, that's just one form. But there, well, let's say there's others. And so, what is your stance on in taxes? Are you somebody who is always looking for a deduction, or are you somebody who's just however it lies at the end of the year, it lies at the end of the year?
My method to reduce my taxes is to spend as much as I can when I realize I'm going to get a profit. And that's usually going to go to my employees. I'm going to give bonuses. I'm going to buy another roaster. I'm going to use all the deductions I can so I don't look too profitable at the end of the year to the government. And then I'll just use that capital that I bought for the next shop.
Are you utilizing financing to scale your business?
What do you mean?
Like, are you borrowing money to open the next location?
I did borrow money for the first 3. I think now we're in a really good spot where I don't think I'll need to borrow for the 4th one. Thank goodness.
But the reason I ask that is because by maximizing expenses, typically what business owners do, they put them themselves in a position where they don't look like they have revenue or money because the tax returns don't look so sexy.
Right. Absolutely.
So I was wondering if you leverage, because you'll encounter that problem when you go to a bank. They'll say, "Hey, man, you don't look like you have any money."
Right. No, yeah. No bank wanted to lend me money because I kept doing that method, except for Square. Square sees I know what you're actually earning, so they'll just offer you $100K and they'll give it to you the next day without really asking too much. It's interesting.
Well, they're borrowing, it's called a receivable note. And what they're doing is they're leveraging your daily cash receipts against the loan. And that's actually very, it's factoring is what they call it, factoring. It's a really good strategy for those businesses who need to leverage money in a very quick fashion. So that's what you're borrowing. Majority of your merchant services account is what's financing the growth.
It is. It was also the most risky thing I've done. 1 month of bad sales and I probably could have gone under.
100%.
Thank goodness I knew what I was doing, because if I didn't, I would be closed down. I would have closed down at least one of my locations. Let's
say your receivables in a day, and when I say receivables, cash or credit cards, it's really credit cards, merchant services, payments every day, $10,000. Let's say you borrow money, they could take half of it every day. And that's how you reservice the debt. You pay them back. And that's a good form of financing. The challenge in most cases is that if you don't hit your number every day, you could be negative to the lender.
Yep.
So if you have to pay them 5 every day and you only made 5,
you're out of luck.
Or you made 4, they just factor it to the next day. So next day you're paying them 6 or 7 or 8, and it just keeps going until it could be a negative consequence. I'm glad that you didn't make it. I mean, that you didn't have to go through that. You went through out of it. For let's say 10 years, you still want to be in this business?
Oh yeah. Yeah. Even if I stay at the 2 million mark, the growth would be in our hospitality. Cool. We're staying at 2 million, but I just care that the guests are gonna get better and better service every year.
That's cool.
Yeah. It's less money based to me, I'd say.
So when does it become about you? You have kids?
No kids.
Gonna have kids someday?
I'd love to. And if I don't, I'll just adopt some. When does it become about me? I think it's actually never gonna be about me. I don't want to prioritize myself in this. It's definitely for my parents to retire, if anything, and just have backup money in case something awful happens. Maybe to help someone out. I do give a lot of these proceeds to the homeless. I'll go like clothe them or give them blankets, feed them with my church. A lot of it's going to go to my church, maybe. Yeah, it's definitely not about me, I'd say.
That's interesting. What gives you that philosophy that it's not like that it'll never be about you?
So like I said, I come from a Mennonite background, so think Amish, but a lot more modern. And the teaching of Menno Simons teach of martyrdom, so giving a lot of yourself to everyone else. So what Mennonites do is they build houses for people for free in impoverished countries. A lot of mission trips are based on that, not so much about spreading the love of Jesus.
Okay.
It's just about giving
Oh yeah, of
and
course.
showing Jesus through your actions, not just talking about him.
And not your words, through your actions.
Yeah, exactly. So that's where all that comes from, the giving aspect.
You don't meet too many people who are so ambitious but yet humble. So what's the next location? When does it open?
Oof, it's supposed to be open this month. But my landlords, this is their first commercial property. So they're having kind of a little bit of a learning curve with learning how to,
Inspections?
yeah, pass inspections. But we're working through it together. So we're thinking late in this year would be cool. It's a standalone, which is our first standalone ever.
Oh, really? That's cool.
It is super cool. And I'm excited to see what I can do with that. Instead of having this drive-through model, it's going to be,
But does it have a drive-through, or is it
it
just
doesn't, no. And I'm really happy about that. It's going to be a very homey shop because it is in a second street. And I'm excited to utilize my brand name to bring people to a place that they normally wouldn't visit. It's next to a bunch of antique shops too.
I believe that time is the most powerful commodity that you can possess, and you have to leverage it. I don't think about money anymore. Like, money is not a driver. I make enough. I'm going to make a lot more. I'm not saying I don't appreciate money. I would just say that it's not my driving decision anymore. It's my
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I get my time back, and if it's worth my time, I'll do it. And if it's not worth my time, I don't do it. So I just invest my time. I don't think about investing money anymore. I invest time. Life is the pursuit of one's potential.
Yeah.
And every day people look around them, especially leaders, and they say, you've got potential and you got potential. And people tell their kids they got potential every single day, right? But they never look in the mirror and say the same. People do it every day. Like, why does everybody else have potential but you?
Yeah. Definitely.
That's why when you were sharing earlier, like, you're somewhat humble. I'm like, but potential is the pursuit of one's fulfillment and best use, right? So when we go to heaven, hopefully we all do, right? Yeah, hopefully. When we get there, he's gonna say, did you do the best you could with what you were given?
Yeah.
Right? Good and faithful. And it's going to be difficult for you to say that if you didn't. You actually have to give to yourself before you can give to others, because you have to be the best version of yourself. And that's very important. So the only way that your team, as an example, can get better is if you get better.
That was a hard truth to swallow, because I was feeling like I don't deserve anything, but I couldn't serve them if I wasn't taken care of. So I realized what's best for the company is best for them, and I am the company. So sometimes I do have to take care of myself.
I put a lot of pressure on me every day. One of the beautiful things about life to me is that I've made a decision to deliver the best version of myself every day as possible. And that has to mean that's like a standard, right? And I read this morning, which I really loved, which is like, you always tolerate things. Like, nothing changes in life until what you tolerate becomes something you can't tolerate. And so you can't change anything until you say, I don't want to do this anymore, right? It can't happen. And so I hold myself so high in standards that it forces everybody around me to keep up. So a lot of people counted me out when I was a kid. Like, it was like an understood thing. Like, I was going to be nurtured and taken care of. And so that became, in my teens, like kind of the rebellious guy that said, fuck that. Like, that ain't going to be me. And I wanted to prove everybody and anything wrong.
Yeah.
And so today, that my life's like a competition, like, to myself, like I proved everybody wrong, and I still will.
That's awesome.
Like, I'm not going to stop, because I want to prove me right. Like, if you were going to say something to yourself, you would say, I can do this, I can win, right? And I'm the little kid that came from the little yellow school bus that nobody thought was going to do shit with his life. And then now I take care of everybody around me. I take care of my parents or my mom. I take care of my family. I take care of my wife's family. I take care of my wife. There will be no need or want in my whole family's generation, at least the generations that I get to meet.
Yeah.
Because I made a decision to flip that switch and say, like, this is who I am. This is what I stand for. I may be different, but what makes me different is what actually makes me win. And that's kind of like the background for me that I don't share a lot about. And I wish more people had that same drive and desire to really transform their life from what people would have said about them once to being the kid that probably nobody would have counted on, because everybody can relate to that. Not everybody was the most popular kid. Not everybody was the kid that in the yearbook that said most likely to be successful, right? There's only one of those kids, and they never made it anywhere. You know that kid, right? Everybody remembers the valedictorian, the most successful kid, and none of those people ever amounted to shit. Because the C kids are the ones that always make it. It's funny though. Were you an A student? I hope you probably were.
Man, I was kind of all over the place. In math, I was top of my class, but in everything else, I was just I was borderline failing.
Damn.
So math, I love math
I was the opposite.
and art.
Funny. I was the opposite. I was really good at everything but math. Then all of a sudden I became like really good at math. It's kind of funny.
We're like puzzle pieces.
Yeah.
We fit each other. So cute. So cute.
So funny. I like this guy. This is gonna be funny.
Are you a coffee guy?
Not really.
It's okay. I won't be offended.
I know. I do like a double shot of espresso. I just take a shot for the caffeine.
Yeah.
But I can tell when I drink them, like I can tell if it's good or bad. Like I like flavor, right? But I don't sip on coffee. I'm not the coffee guy. We were in Europe this summer, and everywhere we went, my wife's like, "Let's try this coffee and let's try it." My wife's really big into coffee.
There you go.
So I'm trying all these damn coffees at all these shops in Italy and in France. Like, anyways, it was I don't know. I don't understand it.
It's funny. I went to Italy last year with my mom, and we were very underwhelmed with how bad espresso is over there.
Yeah.
The US is doing it pretty good.
Yes.
And then I hear Australia does it even better.
It's
So-
funny. Like I didn't think it was that good. I was like, eh.
It's so bad, actually. I was being nice.
I didn't think it was. I don't know. Everywhere I've been, honest truth, like I can go to Starbucks, get a double shot. It's not bad compared to the shit I was.
Yeah.
I was like, it wasn't bad.
Yeah. I am like you. I only get double shots, actually. Every morning I get 2 double shots.
Damn, I like that.
Yeah. And if the shot's not nuanced and light and
Do you
palatable.
put anything in it, like
Nothing at
like
all.
milk, a sweetener, anything?
No, because it already is so different each time I get it, because we change our origin every few weeks to months. Yeah. So right now we have a Colombian on, very chocolatey, and a little bit of an herbal like jasmine tea aftertaste.
No.
And then
I'm gonna try this shit.
And then the Ethiopian we're gonna get is gonna taste like wine. It is so red, grapey, and winey.
Do you ever go to these growers?
You know what? That's actually what we're doing this year, is visiting Origin is what that's called. And yeah, we want to visit them and talk about their practices and say, hey, can you change this?
When are you going? That's cool as shit.
Yeah, I think next summer is when we're going.
That's super cool.
I want to go to Oaxaca and get a direct trade going on with some farmer from there for sure.
Oaxaca?
Either Oaxaca or Chiapas, but I don't like Chiapan coffee. I like Oaxacan coffee.
That's freaking cool. See, this is the kind of cool shit that I like. Like, I would love to fucking go to the. I mean, I feel like,
Come with us.
yeah, I would definitely fucking go. I want to go see that shit. That's cool to me. Like seeing, how the cookies are made, like how the bread's made. That's cool.
It is cool.
That's really cool. Like those are the things I think. I mean, anyways, I think about things like from a business standpoint. One thing I've always been is a guy who wants to know the economics, the source, the driver of the revenue, I love that stuff. That's just my jam. That's really why I like taxes, because I get to learn about people's money. We work with these clients that are super high end, like super. I have clients that make $300 million.
Yeah.
And I get to learn how they made the money. The type of nuance that they have between the products that they offer, the margins that they make, who their people are, their leaders, their infrastructure, their grower, supplier. It's just so cool to me.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going off a tangent. It's just like fun.
My dad's kind of like that, where he tries to cut out the middleman constantly. So he's actually over there. He's the reason we're visiting Origin, because he wants to form a direct trade instead of getting the importer. So we're going to see if we can do that this year.
Yeah, because if you you can cut them out. You probably increase your margins by 20%, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, they probably get a 20% markup, if not more.
Roasting our own coffee already helped us cut our margins by about 20-30%. So we're hoping to cut it even more. Or he is. He's such a go-getter. He pushes me to be more. That I don't realize the potential I have if it's not for him.
Really?
Yeah, I would base a lot of my success on my parents for sure.
That's really amazing to say. This has been fun.
Thanks. Yeah, it was.
Dude,
I really
Kenny,
liked it.
I appreciate you, man. You should come to Sovereign Coffee, Brownsville, Harlingen, McAllen now?
Edinburgh and then McAllen.
Edinburgh and McAllen. You guys should check it out. He's got a great business. It smells great in here, by the way, guys. So you should check it out. I'm going to try some, and I'll give you a review afterwards as well. So check him out, guys. And where can you check? Is there a website?
Yeah, just look up Sovereign Coffee on Google. We're the first one that pops up, I believe.
Badass. Cool. All right, guys. Thank you.